I mean, how are you feeling about the whole like AI thing? Are you,
Well, that's
because
one of the
creatives, are
yeah,
getting a bit
that's one of the
concerned.
reasons I don't have the income that I used to, which I never had to find work even. I would just release mainly adverts I was in, like films didn't earn so much, but I did like an Audi advert, Google, Ferrari, British
Wow.
Airways, like
Oh
every
my
brand you can think
God.
of, Audi,
That's
German.
amazing.
It's like a 20-year career doing all kinds of things, and I loved it.
Oh, I
And
bet.
the other thing is like you win the job, it goes on TV, you get the royalties every quarterly.
Nice.
And then over pandemic, I think everything just went quiet, and I thought it would pick up afterwards. But I spoke to a few other composers, and they were like, "Yeah, we just stopped getting phone calls." And like, where are they going?
Oh,
And
yeah.
so they go often to production library companies, which is what TV do as well. I found a few TV directors, and I offered to do music. And for some of them, I was like, "I'll do it for free." I know I shouldn't be letting the standard down, but for some of these, I
Yeah.
want a new client, so willing to do it for free. And they're like, yeah, but we've got a subscription with Audio Networks or with Universal, and it's easy for us to just like select the track, and you can use AI to like search the track and say, between 2 minutes 20 and 3 minutes, I need horror music with a little peak at
Right.
3 minutes that has got like a glassy tone, and you put this thing in, and it gives you a selection. So of course I get it. For a director, you don't have to wait and then trust and then possibly not like what the composer said and be like, I don't really like it. And they can
Yeah.
have it easy. So I'm embracing with pain the reality that is happening a lot more, and
No, it's rubbish, isn't
AI
it?
is scoring a lot of jobs. And on top of that, my friends, a lot of composers who are real people that created real music and put them into these library companies that TV is using. Now AI is automatically almost saying, we now will own this, and we will use it to train other AI systems to create music similar
Right.
to that. And some with people without permission. So there's a lot of composers fighting to say, you've got to ask for permission to use my
Yeah.
music for that. And there's an email going around at the moment saying, we're going to use it whether you like it or not. If you want to get money, you can accept our terms. If you don't accept our terms, we won't even use your track. It'll just be obsolete. And it's like, it's basically like, you've got to join us or nothing. And
Yeah.
it's scary. And I am a bit worried just because I did 2 tours last year, and it was so fantastic, successful, sold out. Couldn't have gone better. Sold all the merch, and I earned 2 credit cards because of the amount of money it costs to do touring.
Oh my
And
God.
I was hearing Kate Nash say something as well. You know, she's got that big hit, Foundations or something, and she tours big stadiums. You know, I'm only doing like 50 to 100 seaters. I'm just starting out in live music since the sync world music is confusing me a bit, because I thought live music, surely that's fine. You know, there's no robots
Yeah.
so much out there.
Yeah.
And I just had no idea how much it costs. You got your
No
hotels,
way.
you got your van hire, the fuel. The musicians barely got anything. The venues, you got to pay the venues. They've nearly doubled in price this year, and yet what we can charge for tickets. My first show was at £10, and I was like, oof, I could barely cover anything. Let me just raise it to £15, which is kind of a lot for live music in grassroots music scene these days. People are like, £15 is a bit much for a new singer-songwriter. But I just didn't want to go into debt. And so,
Yeah.
and still I went into debt. It's like, and
No
we had
way.
so many like people help us with free hotels and free accommodation. Some of the venues lowered their price for us, which is amazing, but a lot of them are putting it up because they have to as well. And meanwhile, we can't really put our prices up. So I don't want to charge £15 a ticket again. So this tour that I'm doing in September, maybe
That
like
over here
£13.
or?
Yeah, so I'm coming back
Yeah.
over there.
Amazing.
Mid to late September, we'll be going around. I'll post it all soon when I figured out how to do posters on Canva.
Oh, I have to come along and say hello. Yeah.
That'd be great. Yeah,
Yeah.
come on, that'd be nice. And yeah, it's just like a lot of money that goes out. I'm grateful for the money for the tickets of people that come in, but I think people don't realize it doesn't go to the artists. That goes to everything else.
Just costs and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't really know how to sustain that. I'm talking to a lot in the film industry, which is the same. Like, there's no longer a record label or a Big Daddy or CD sales for their version of it. And instead they're even talking about crowdfunding films because there's just it's such a big time of change right now, and it's scary if you look at like, I don't know where this is going, and it's so easy to put a pessimistic view on it and be like, we're going to be taken over by robots.
I know.
Then you just kind of transplant your brain and be like, right, how can I make this work for me? And in a way, I think it's making us all grow up. Like, musicians, stop using the big daddy of a label or the marketing company that you have to give your money and your royalties and everything to. Grow up, learn Canva, learn AI tools so that you can do it, learn about marketing, learn about playlisting. It's a huge minefield. I don't want to do it. I don't think any artist wants to do it. We just want to write songs because they kind of keep knocking on my head. But maybe it's an opportunity in this era of saying, I don't know how you say independenciar. Like, make yourself independent. Is there a word for that?
Independent artists.
It's nice in Spanish because there's one word. Tienes que, you have to. Independenciar. Like, you have to independicize yourself and become this whole being that can get your own creative thing and make yourself a product, learn these tricks, which AI is really going to help us to do quicker. It's amazing what you can do. You can go on AI and be like, book me a tour, find me the emails. You don't need a booking agent, which is also sad because the booking agent needs money. So it's like so many good and bad. Like, it's making us a bit more individual, which is good for us of having creative control. But I also don't think individualism is good for us. We're meant to be a community. And speaking from someone that lives on their own in the middle of a mountain that does a lot on my own, it's not what we're meant to be. No. Especially with the New Lives in the Wild show, which makes it glamorizes. And I love those team, but it does glamorize this kind of, independent life and disconnecting from society and doing your own thing. And I think tribe, your people, is 100%. So like, how do we think we're not ants or bees? Like,
I know,
it's true.
I couldn't agree more. Like, we are designed to be together and in nature. That's how we've evolved.
Yeah, definitely. And it seems like, to survive, we have to go a bit more independent because we don't have money to pay for these things, and there's no big dog that's helping us. So I don't know. At the moment, it just looks like a big pyramid of different shapes and tones, and there's dark and light, and
it's hard, isn't it? Such a hard time. Like you say, you just don't know where this is going to go, and it's just kind of like, it's so hard to navigate, isn't it?
I think when Colombia showed me a lot of that as well. I remember coming from being a London composer and serious and just left Abbey Road.
I know a bit more about that. Yeah, carry on. Yeah,
it's so different to who I am now. No, just I had some great. I could do like the whole name dropping and accolade thing, and so I came out from that scene, and then suddenly you come to Colombia and like, my friend was on Rolling Stone, and I've just been on BBC Radio 1, and the Colombians are there with their little beer or their fruit juice, and like, ¿qué? ¿Cómo qué? And it's like, okay. Rolling Stone magazine, the Beatles, huh? Really? David Bowie.
Humbling.
Do you want a beer? And it's like, these statuses that we create of like, this means something. Being on Radio 1 means something. Being connected with the David Bowie thing or whoever, or being on this big magazine or whatever. They don't care because it doesn't mean anything to them out here.
Wow.
And it made me be like, oh shit, it's cultural. It's not actual success. It's just our English idea that this person represents success, that name of Radio 1 means that you've made it. Whereas here, there's people that have been so successful, they create these paradise homes out here. They've got the thing and they get to live in it and invite people, and they have a beer at sunset, and like, I've done that.
That's amazing. That is.
That when you compare that compared to like my friends being on Rolling Stone magazine, it's like success is really kind of got rewired out here for me.
So that was a rewiring for you when you made the transition over, yeah?
Yeah, because I was so ambitious, and I felt like I was failing because I hadn't had this name or this award or this thing, and I thought that's where you go. That's as a musician, you got to get an Ivor Novello award or a Mercury award. I don't know. You've got to have achieved that. Your mum will be proud of you if you can say that you got on that stage. And the minute you come out here and none of that even exists, it's not a thing, makes you go like, then what is it about? And suddenly they're there offering their little beer at sunset, and you pull a guitar out and the whole community starts singing and loves live musicians. They just love people that offer live music. They don't care what it is. It's like, if you can sing with this body and it comes out a sound, and you've used these fingers and metal strings that someone created this amazing instrument, and you just do this and you sing, everyone, the vibe of the whole place, like, you know, switch off the radio, you just have someone expressing. If we're looking at success like energetic shifts upwards, that is definitely way more successful than seeing your kid go on Radio 1, whatever. Like the communal thing of what music really is, which is campfire sharing. So I say that, but I was raised in a Western world, and so I have an addiction to.
Do you still feel that? Yeah.
Totally, yeah. I've got less than I ever have done in my life. I don't have an income anymore. I used to have this great thing. I used to have a big studio. I had like the big Neve preamps and everything. Low battery. I've got less than I ever have done, and I feel so freaking happy. Like, I've got so much fulfillment in me, and it's something that money could never buy me. It's something that my success could never buy me. The labels I started building up, the events that I did, always left me wanting more. It's like a hungry stray dog. You give it the thing that you think is success, like you give it the fake sugar packeted thing, and then suddenly you're like, was it MSG? Is it called the?
I think so. Yeah.
That stuff's nuts, man. I eat it in a salt and pepper.
Like the addictive stuff in the food. Yeah.
Doritos. I can't stop. Like,
I know.
My brain,
literally, once you pop, that's it.
Yeah, and you're never satisfied. And instead, what it does, it feeds the greed bit and feeds the drive, and so you're in this state of nothingness. Whereas I think I found these days, the secret to my happiness is less stimulation. Like, the less stimulated I am, if I don't watch too many films, I don't really play video games, I don't really do anything fancy, which I hope maybe one day I will get to enjoy those things. But for now, I'm experimenting with living so simply. I have about 2 forks in my house. I don't have many things. And what I've noticed, that I can really enjoy a piece of grass. I noticed it the other day. I was walking down the street and I was like, wow, look at that grass. And I was so illuminated by it, because my stimulation level is so down that something like that can fill my body with joy and light.
Interesting.
Whereas if I had more things that kind of give me more of that, like that sugar candy, the MSG, and you got your new coffee machine, you can't go to the place where I'm at right now, where you found a coffee bean at the bottom of your bag and you manage to blend it with your hand blender. You smell it and you just go, whoa! And then you make a face mask out. You get a face mask out of it. Afterwards, you go to the river, you wash it up. And I'm getting levels of joy that I've never had, even when I had the place in London and the mics and everything. I got to say, there is something that was fulfilled by that, which is that feeling of like doing what you do well with the tools, good tools and all of that. I am not being fulfilled by that, but my core baseline happiness is really damn good right now. And I realized when I was in London, and I remember just like producing all the time, and I was married at the time, and he couldn't get a time with me because I was so obsessed with producing, because I put my value in creating, and I've got to exist and be validated. And obviously my baseline in myself wasn't good. I was trying to fill it with other things, and I didn't realize that till coming out here in Colombia and just killing everything and losing everything, enjoying this blade of grass. And now I'm like, I hope the other thing comes into balance a bit more, that I can find a way to keep myself afloat with the music industry, even with AI and everything happening. I'll figure it out. Yeah, I hope I can get a flight back to England. I hope I can fix the hole in my roof, and that I can give to people. I hope I can pay my musicians what they deserve and all of that. But at least I know that it's not coming from a place of this stray dog hungry need of MSG hunting, but it's more like, I don't know, it's a liberated earning, because I've got my baseline good now. And
well, it sounds like you've gone back to your true nature, because I was listening to, like, I think it was a Will Smith interview the other day, and he was like, you can get we're told by culture that you have to achieve all these things, and he's achieved absolutely everything and got to the top, and then he just fell off a cliff because everyone gets to the top and is like, oh no, I'm still not happy, and there's nowhere else to go, and he just fell off a cliff. And
it's the wrong direction. I think the more you get, the more you do, the more you think that. And my friend is a fantastic film composer, and like, because he's still going, because there is a disparity. So like the ones that were kind of the independents of getting replaced, but the ones that are scoring as he does, David Attenborough documentaries, can't get better than that for a documentary.
Oh, the music in them is like off the chart as well. Oh my God. I literally listen to those scores, just the music, because it's just so moving.
They're brilliant. They've got budget for real orchestral instruments. They've got time. They get paid. So they've put all of that stuff in. And I was just like, we both started at the same film music course together. We were both there. And for a while we were this, and then I just, my life went this way. Well, not this way in other things.
Just a different way.
I guess in the Western world, it looks like this happened. He got the David Attenborough scores, and then the phone stopped ringing me for the adverts, and I went and isolated myself in nature. But what actually happened, and we had this chat, is like, he was saying, Vanessa, like, I have got everything that you might look at wanting, but I can't stop looking up. Like, there's always the person in front of me. There's always a person in front of me, and it traumatizes me. And it's like, I'm not good enough yet. I'm not there. And it's like, I can't stop.
And even, is it a girl or a boy?
He's a guy, yeah.
Yeah. So he feels like that.
Yeah, he feels like that. And he's got these awards and everything. And it's like, wow. So
top of the game.
Top of the game. And he's can't stop looking at the person ahead of him. Meanwhile, life sent me in a way that stripped everything of me. And I'm not even looking at him anymore. So I can really celebrate people like that and feel like, ah, that's amazing. And yeah, I'd love to do things like that, but it's not chasing anymore. So I'm not like, when these artists and celebrities are like, no, I just got to keep filling it. And it makes me feel so unhappy. So it's like my friend, he's always looking up, whereas I've gone this way and I've got less, and I'm finding more happiness going down here.
So interesting.
But, I mean, I've got other things that I'm lacking. Like I miss bands in England. I miss being with my crew there, the music culture there. Feeling like you're on the cutting edge of art and culture. Just like, I don't know, here it is just very much simple, communal, tribal living, nature, and that is filling a huge bit of what I never realized I needed. And I think we don't value it so much as well, even in the Western world. Like, we don't really need a garden or time together, I'm just and because it's that false devilish sense of like, I just posted a reel, I feel like I've done something and being productive. I get that too. I love feeling productive, like I've done something. You feel so good, but it doesn't fulfill. It actually creates a bit more of a vacuum for more of it. And so it's that balance. It's almost like the salt. Like, we should use it as the salt, but the main meal and the food that we should have, the vegetables and all of that, should be the communal thing, and the connecting and doing things you love, and just being around things that grow. For me, has been massive. Like, I got so much wisdom from just being amongst nature that I didn't need to go for a book or ask a friend or panic. Like, I think one time I was desperate for the answer, as I always often am, looking, show me the way.
Yeah,
this is my usual state of being.
Yeah,
it's like, show me, I don't know. Like, what am I meant to do? Where am I meant to go? And nature has taught me, without anyone telling me, by looking after a mango tree. I was looking after this mango tree, and it bloomed with green mangoes one time, and so not ripe. And I plucked one because it looked so nice. I was like, I'm just going to pluck it. And it poisoned me. Well, not poisoned, it burnt me. Because if you pluck an unripe mango, it throws like a sap, and it can burn your skin.
Oh my God.
And I was like, ow, that's not very nice. And I thought in that moment, I am doing the same with hunting for knowing the answer. And knowing, like I'm so desperate to like know right now. Like, I am desperate to have a mango, that if I do that, I'm going to get burnt and might make this fruit that's going to, do me harm. And what I have to do is just trust that it's a fruit tree, and it fruits, and we are all fruit trees, and we all fruit, but there is a time to ripen, and you have to wait, and you can't wait. I don't know, maybe that mango tree would have not, I mean, I would have just been wasting my time sitting by that green mango going, come on, are you ready now? Are you ready now? It's like, no, every day the way you can get the answer a bit quicker, possibly. Well, I think seasons will just be the main thing, but you can put fertilizer, you can give it water, maybe, something that'll help it, just like we can ourselves, like being nice to ourselves, watering ourselves, keeping that creative or inspirational things that keep us going, or keeping fit and everything. And then eventually in a good, healthy place, then maybe we'll be like, that's turning yellow. And then the minute it turns a bit more yellow, you pluck it, it doesn't burn you, and it nourishes you back. And so just from looking after a mango tree, I have got a principal foundational anxiety that I've always had healed, because I've seen it, I've lived it, I've tasted it, and it's a law of nature. Nature is full of laws. Like Western world is full of systems that so first time I came to Colombia, was visiting family, and I felt like I kind of get my nature a bit more, that's a little bit more rascally and a bit like so I'm like, okay, that helps. And then I think I met that was it, I met a producer, Richard Blair, who was the Peter Gabriel magic catcher that I spoke about, and I saw a mirror that's probably the brightest thing I've ever seen, of someone who rang of an essence of me that I wasn't yet. Like in that time I was married and I was in a church and I was like very, businessy minded. And he's like there in his hammock and all these bracelets on, and just, I don't know, I've never seen someone that I was like, oh my gosh, I am on the wrong path. And they made me wake up being like, that's, I don't know, it's how it felt. And I remember feeling like so much of me die around that time.
Wow.
And not knowing what to do with it. And then came a process of unpicking that. And so the connection to Colombia was, I wanted to explore of that version of me. And it only seemed to really exist out Colombia. So I got stranded and kind of things as well. Like life had its way of pulling me into Colombia as well. Literally couldn't get out of the village. They locked the doors off. So something was going on in me and then from the outside. So I kind of went with it. And it's so funny, actually. I think I met him 10 years ago, still his friend. Very important person in my life. And I think now, looking at who I've become, feels so coherent to me. And I'm so different to who I was when I first met him. But actually, it looks very similar to almost like the female version of him. I see it now. But there was a long path to get there. And I think sometimes you get those mirrors in life, a person or a place, a piece of artwork. You're suddenly awoken up to who you're meant to be, or not meant to be, who you are, or I mean, that's a whole topic, like who are we even, I don't know, but something that just resonates with my colors and my vibes and everything. And
it's just a feeling that you had with him, was it?
Like just like a stark grounding, just a recognition,
and knowing,
not feeling just like, oh my gosh, I'm here. This is me, but I'm not here. I'm not that. I'm like, wow. And I remember this the minute I got back to England, and I was married at the time and had been the same Vanessa, like a bit tomboyish, a bit of a rock chick, and liked certain things. I remember going around shopping with my ex-husband and picking fabrics and towels and things that I was like, what am I doing? Do I like this? Wow. And like even physical things, my clothes, my wardrobes. And I was like, so he planted this seed, as we're always doing, and it was such a big one that I'd started sprouting with things that I didn't even well, I don't know. I'd never seen it in this version of Vanessa, but I recognized it like, this is me in this. And I remember Dan looking at me going, you like that? And I'm like, yeah.
Oh, wow. So your whole taste and things changed?
My whole taste, like picking artwork, and that just changed. It literally just made me a whole other person. Funnily enough, I mean, I don't really want to go on, but at that time that I met Richard, Dan was in England, my husband, who I think when you've been together for so long, you vibe each other wherever you are. And it was on a Sunday morning, and he said he suddenly felt a pit in his stomach, like a rock hit him in his stomach, and he felt, I've just lost Vanessa. I don't know what that means. Like, I don't know if it's physical or something's happened, something's just broken. And then we spoke later that day, and I said, I didn't realize the magnitude of it, not till now. I knew something had really like slapped me across the face. But then when I got back to England, I just couldn't be I couldn't walk the same path anymore. Like I was totally like, don't you know you're this tree, Vanessa? This is how you sprout. This is what fruit you grow. This is the climate and everything. And Dan was such a good guy in being like, right, well, take the spare room. Do what you like. Decorate it however you want. See who you are. And
Wow.
and I moved in that spare room and I decorated it with jungle plants and colours and textures and artistic weird stuff and ancient instruments hanging down compared to this old rock chick, Vanessa. And I remember him coming in the room going, whoa, I've never seen this side of you, and it's totally you. It's like so coherent. And so Richard, bless him, he really helped me as a good friend around that time. And I was deconstructing from the church, and I was like, my brain says this, but I'm feeling this. And he was so clear because he's already way ahead. He's like my version that's way ahead. And slowly I walked the path to being who I now feel so coherent. I can shop easily. I was never able to go shopping because like, am I this? Am I like that? I don't know.
Not sure what you liked, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just feel really good in myself. Like I don't doubt that I'm meant to be living any other path. I don't.
That must be such a lovely feeling now to know that you're living in your life and where you're meant to be.
Yeah, real like. It just feels like very coherent, and it comes with sacrifices because it's unfortunately not many people are living this kind of life to feel like you're all right. You know, when you've got other people all flocking in the same direction on like the Western Road in Brighton, like we're going in the right direction. If you're going off on the side street, you feel like, am I? So you're constant because everyone's going that way. Is this all right?
All cultures going that way, all signposts are that way, and you're like, my instincts are telling me to go this way.
And I'm not as strong, like, I don't care what they think, I'm going this way. I'm not that type of person. I'm a sensitive artist, and so I doubt a lot, and I'm like, I feel like I'm really alone in this as a woman in this age that should be getting married and having kids and someone getting a proper job, but like my stomach is humming. There's like a hum and a piece, and I devalued that before because I was English in my head and I would logically go, this is safe, this is going, and I'm like slowly in life learn to trust the hum. The places that's taken me and looked after me is amazing, so I trust it more now. It still costs me. So I'm there going off on this side street and then eventually finding a few people, but there's not so many people that are doing it, and so you got to really find that sureness in yourself. Like I've kind of done it to an extreme level of what you saw on the Ben Fogal show. It's like, wow, she's really found who she is in her life, and done this. It's totally how it felt for me during it all, and the reason why I say in the last few months I've got the green mango moment of going, oh my gosh, there's new fruit, is because I've suddenly, after coming back from England this time, had quite a stark awakening that I was in healing. I had no idea. I thought I'd made it. I thought I was a healed person already, and being on, I don't need anyone, I'm on my own, I've got it all. And I felt very healed during it all until I woke up and I'm like, I was in healing. This place, this project of building a home was my medicine and my hospital to becoming now the new version 2.0 million Vanessa is now arrived as a whole other. I feel differently wired. I feel like a communal being now, and I this is why I'm speaking like this rather than if you would have interviewed me a few months ago, I would have been like, I'm drawn to solitary bees. I judged beehives. So you're also needy. You're just needy. And now I'm like, whoa, goodness me, community is everything. And I'm now a healed version of myself. But now what I'm left with is a house on the top of a hill with all of my investment put in there. I've got this whole isolated life that was built for a hermit Vanessa that I thought was me, but it was a Vanessa in healing. And now I'm at the other end. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what do I do with this now? Like, what do I do with this lifestyle and this house that I built for myself that I thought was everything? I got to change the story, and it's scaring me a bit because it's going to be a big change. And life is already showing me a few little things, like when you see the mango tree gets that kind of a flower, it's like, oh, I think it's going to turn yellow around there. But anyway, I'm not going to pluck it because I'll get poisoned.
I'm not going to tempt fate on that one. I won't rush you.
I won't rush your tree, but it would be nice. So I'm in the middle of this, like, wow, gosh, it's taken me this long to be this version, and then now you just couldn't have gone any faster. It is what it is, and it's the timing of these trees that we are, and we will produce the fruit that life needs us to produce. It will be something different, and I think we'll look back in however many years and go, in the same way that we do our whole lives.
Yeah.
Like when I met Richard and went, oh my gosh, what have I done my whole life? I've been like in a church and married and then this lifestyle and wearing these clothes and they're not even this. And then suddenly 10 years on now, I go, great, nice life. Did a good one. And now I'm at the point of like, oh my gosh, like 10 years time. I'm learning the patterns.
Have you got any thoughts about your next moves then, if you're having another one of those kind of moments?
I feel like I can't even speak it yet because I don't know. I've got gists, but they're kind of circling around so much. I almost feel like to speak it will just, I don't know.
Don't, if it doesn't feel right, don't know.
It's something big though. And I definitely, I've got to say England, the connection to England is still there. And this side of live music, which I'd never, like I said, my background is as a composer, and I thought me, hermit, isolated, suited who I was then. Suddenly, the live music side, which only really started last year, I've kind of done bits like, open mic scenes, but never taken it seriously. That started last year because it was an accident. Like the tour was an accident. It was for another artist in Montana. He wanted to tour England and for me to kind of like help alongside. And then he couldn't make it, but we'd booked the venues, I'd booked the flights. And so I just had to show up and do the tour myself. And it grew. And so I was like, I really just thought I was going around in a car with a tiny guitar and just singing to a few cafes. But it's turned out it's grown. And so Chloe, my singer, come with me. And then it got even bigger. And it's like, right, Tom, bass, Jack on guitar. And so growing it. And then it looks like I'm going for it ambitiously, but what's happened is like life has just thrown me a whole other path and gone like, you've accidentally fallen into getting a tour, you actually enjoyed it, and now grow it. And so that's really changed my life because that doesn't exist here. But at the same time, I love this life as well. And obviously for some people say, well, it's just clearly you do the two things, but I've got a dog and I've got trees, and any plant that you do that to, like, it's hard. Like you grow roots in one place and they start sprouting with community and connection, and you pull it up and then just to put it into another location, it's not as easy. Like I feel that very much every time I go back to England, I start sprouting and it's really hard to come home. And then it's the other way. I start sprouting here and then it's hard to like disconnect, and you get a trust between your community and your friends, and you get your projects growing. And I started a choir here, and then suddenly you're just going to kill it for a few months and then pull the roots out. It's not natural, and I'm trying to weigh that up a bit. I never thought I was a singer. I'm terrified of speaking, let alone singing. Yeah.
Wow. God, you would never think, would you? You're incredible. I obviously saw you on the telly, so.
Thank you. Now I couldn't live without it. I don't do it to get anywhere. I just find it healthy to like fling a bunch of stuff off your lungs and just. But I'm so glad that I vomited for about 2 years in open mic nights.
Did you?
My ex-husband saw it at the time, and he was like, why are you doing this? Why do you keep going every Monday to the Brunswick and vomiting and coming back traumatized? Why are you doing something so uncomfortable that you clearly hate, that's not good for your peace? So I'm like, there's another version of Vanessa behind that fear door. Wow. Fear is always the next door of us. It's like, it's actually a great thing. Like you feel scared. The idea isn't to do this. The idea is like, why? What's behind it? Obviously, walking into a street gang with pistols at your head, that's another kind of fear survival. It's always trying to look after us. And all fear is saying, are you sure? It's a Chris Tarrant, are you sure? And then you go like, I think I got this. I think I'm not going to die if I get on a stage and sing. And I think a lot of people might feel that. I did. Like, no way, I'm not going to sing. I'm not going to do karaoke. I'm not going to do public speaking.
Well, I'm terrified of public speaking, I've got a big issue with that. Major.
You wouldn't tell. And I just think that's exciting. Like, if you're scared of something, it means that there's more of you on the other side, because we can become anything. And, like, I didn't speak until I was nearly, a lot older. I was so shy. I was a hidden closet girl, just terrified. Didn't have really many friends in school, didn't connect. And my nature is to stay there. That's comfortable. And maybe if I would have had parents that would have been mollycoddles, oh no, you stay where you are, don't go out. But instead I was thrown into a church environment, so it was a bit more social. And then I was left at Sunday school to cry on the bench when I didn't want my mum to leave. And it's like, no, get on with it. And I'm so glad she did, because maybe you create little traumas in the meanwhile. But meanwhile, I've got a great vehicle to live my life through, because I'm now like, if it's scary, don't mean that you stop there. No. There's a little tool to grow, and then you get around it, and then you re-identify yourself. And it took me 7 years to say I'm a singer. I think I've now been singing maybe only 8 or 9. So just in the last few years, I could now put on my CV, I sing, I'm a singer. And before that, I couldn't identify with this new weird Vanessa that was vomiting, wasn't very good at it, and would have a natural vibrato in my nerves and everything. And now it's like I now identify with the thing. And so because I don't identify or feel like we are that thing, it's like doesn't stop us. We shouldn't ever stop. Like water that moves is the freshest and the cleanest.
Anyway. Oh, that is like such a good lesson.
Embrace the fear.
It's I mean, I have been trying to get through my public speaking thing, which has been quite hard. I went to like a group, and I was like, right, just try and just go up for like 5 seconds. It's when I stand up and go to the front of the room, like I have a physical response to it. Yeah. And it's like, I just was like, it's not pretty. And I was like, just go up. And I tried to do it the first time, and I did something, but I blanked out. I can't remember any of it. And then the guy afterwards was like, well, there was clearly a lot of adrenaline there. And like, and I was like, oh God, it was as bad as I thought it was going to be.
No reading of a textbook or Instagram post is going to cure, or I don't know, make you be a public speaker more than you just sitting in the uncomfortable feelings. And eventually you go, oh, those uncomfortable feelings don't actually kill me. And you get familiar with them, and they become friends almost. And so all that adrenaline and the blacking out, I had the same as well at university, didn't do public speaking. And then they forced you to do it. And I'm glad for people that push you. Yeah. People are so scared of pushing people. Like, no, how do you feel? Well, follow how you feel. No, can someone just push me out? And so my university lecturers are like, you have to do this. And I'm like, no, I don't want to. You don't understand. I will vomit if I public speak. And they're like, it's part of the course. You fail it or you do it. And then the more you do it, you're like, it's not that bad. And you'll get to that level of swimming in the pool, and you're like, oh, I'm swimming.
Yeah, because I've been thinking about putting like a live event on, and it just terrifies me. And I'm kind of progressing with the organisation of it, but I'm like, I just don't want to turn up and like, ooh, and like not be able to speak. So
just keep doing it. It's the only education way of
only way forward.
Getting yourself in those uncomfortable feelings. The more you can. I don't know. Would you even go to an open mic or birthday party, suddenly spring a speech out like, I'm going to exercise this muscle that needs growing, I'm going to speak, comes out bad. If it comes out bad, it's even better for you, because then you know that you're all right, you still survived doing something that sounded so bad. So, keep going, love. I think
you've inspired me to give it another go.
Yeah, it totally means, and especially if you're drawn to it as well, if you're drawn to people public speaking or the idea of it, it means you are already that. Like, I think what you're attracted to, you are already the thing. There's just a few prices on the way there, a few toll booths.
I love that analogy.